Hi, friends. It's Steve Thulson again. And I want to say how much I've enjoyed being part of the Survive and Thrive class. And thanks so much to the Love Inc. Impact team for giving me this opportunity. I hope it's been helpful. For this last reflection, as part of our class, I want to be as positive and as encouraging as possible. So we'll let our friend, the disciple and apostle Peter, give us this word from his first New Testament letter. Here's what he says: "The end of all things is near. The end of all things is near." Now, that'd make a pretty good Hallmark sweet greeting, wouldn't it? Well, here's the truth: everything is temporary, including each one of us. And in the immediate context of the letter, where Peter says the end of all things is near, he's saying that all of us one day will be held accountable by God for what we did or did not do with this short life that we've been given. Now, that's pretty sobering. But here's the even bigger truth that Peter is giving in his letter, what we find throughout the whole Bible: the prospect and the reality of the end of all things lies within a much greater reality. Here's how Peter puts it: in God's great mercy, he has given us new birth. He has given us new birth. How? To the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. So within this reality of the resurrection that Jesus shares with us, the end of all things is also the beginning of all things. The beginning of all things made well in a whole new creation, birthed in the empty tomb of Jesus, birthed then in the hearts of all who entrust themselves to him. Now think about this. What about not just the end of all things, but what about the many different endings of many things? The different endings of many things. Our lives are full of them. Our lives have seasons, and that includes the end of childhood as we enter adulthood, the end of school as we begin maybe a work career, the end of work life as we retire. And life brings disruptions like, say, pandemics. And so the endings of jobs and financial security, or the endings of full health, normal routines, maybe the end of life itself. Now, let me go back to my main appeal in these 11 weeks of reflections. Here's what we need to do: honestly face what's hard in our lives, like endings of this or that, but even more, focus on God in Jesus, who makes all things new. So every ending, the good, the terrible, the in-between, when faced and when placed into resurrection reality, every ending becomes God's opportunity for new beginnings. And if that's true, here's at least where the Holy Spirit will lead us. In the words of Peter, the end of all things is near. Therefore, because everything will end, but also because the new has begun, therefore, be alert and of sober mind. Be attentive, in other words, be sane is what it literally means. Face and be in touch with reality. Why? So that you can pray. So our lives will be focused on God with grateful and dependent trust. Peter goes on, above all, love each other deeply. And then he elaborates by calling his readers, including us, into welcoming hospitality and exercising whatever sorts of gifts God has given us. For example, serving with his strength, speaking God's truth, and in everything, doing it for the praise and glory of God. In life's endings, but new life beginning for us, you see, Peter's giving an empowering reason to see and embrace what matters most, what eternally lasts. Number one, it's the God who loves us. Number two, it's the people around us whom he loves. God and people. And that's where the risen Jesus is at work and wants to take each of us. A friend of mine put it into a song years ago. He loves you just the way you are today, but much too much to let you stay that way. Now that growing up can get unnerving. It's not comfortable, and yet there is nothing better in life to be growing up into all that God has for us. Several weeks ago, I referred to the German church leader Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who in 1945, just before World War II ended, at the age of 39, he was hanged by the Gestapo for his role in the resistance movement because he believed that Jesus, not Adolf Hitler, was the Führer, the Lord. Well, as Bonhoeffer was led naked out of his prison cell one cold morning, led to the gallows, he told his cellmate, "This is the end, but for me, the beginning. This is the end, but for me, the beginning." Friends, the day will come when God's declaration that we read in Revelation will be fulfilled, where God says, "I make all things new." I make all things new. There will be no more COVID-19 or any other illness, no more racial injustice or any kind of oppression, no more separations or losses, no more fear, no more pain. And in the meantime, there's this. If our endings, but also new beginning, is our destiny, then as we step out and follow Jesus into the new that he brings, we've got nothing to lose and we've got everything to gain. And may that be true for me and for you. Let me leave you with a form of an ancient blessing. As you go on your way, may you know that the risen Jesus goes with you, above you to watch over you, before you to show you the way, behind you to give you encouragement, within you to give you his peace, and beside you as your friend. God bless.